Feeling like a god when I make art. Fingers on the keys, turn to Mozart. Shining when I'm seen, that's the best part. Fresh start, never really thought I'd take it this far. Making money on the neck, cause I got smart. I'm the type you don't forget when I depart. I'ma do it if I said, that's the best part. Fresh start, never really thought I'd take it this far. I won't ever let them break my heart. Tough talk, took it all too hard. Never thought I would've got this far. Big screens, big dreams, so last year I would've broke apart. Got tough when the shit got hard. Never thought I would've got this far. Big screens, big dreams, so a big star. Reset, then it's on to what's next. Been a whole ass year and I'm still so depressed. I was wishing I was dead and still accomplished all this. So when I say I'm him, I'ma say it with my chest. I was scared as fucking, really about to crash out. Saw the text, I know you wanted me to stay down, but I don't give a fuck what they say now. Won't change now. Well, worst cuts always come from my side. Said I was a shit, but won't you look me in the eyes? Big fucking talking, no motherfucking spine. I don't cry over in pain, from a bitch who never tried.
Yeah, you never tried. You know that I would never lie. Told you that I was gonna fly. Hold you, yeah, that would make me cry. You told me to be somebody I never wanted to be. You used to be somebody, but now you're just no one to me. I gotta be myself if I wanna go count up my wealth. Don't need nobody's help, don't need you to tell me how I felt.
I won't ever let them break my heart. Tough talk, took it all too hard. Never thought I would've got this far. Big screens, big dreams, so last year I would've broke apart. Got tough when the shit got hard. Never thought I would've got this far. Big screens, big dreams, so last year I would've broke apart. Got tough when the shit got hard. Never thought I would've got this far. Big screens, big dreams, so big star. Fingers on the keys, turn to Mozart. Shining when I'm seen, that's the best part. Fresh start, never really thought I'd take it this far.
Dynamics deals with the forces and their effects acting upon the body.
Alexis Trujillo is the greatest prospect that MLB The Show has ever generated. For those of you who have not watched my Chicago White Sox Rebuild, which at this point I uploaded several months ago, during that rebuild in the 2027 draft, we spotted one of the most unique looking prospects of all time. Here's a flashback. What? Who? What? I don't think I've ever... Who are you? Since spotting Alexis Trujillo in the 2027 MLB Draft of that rebuild, I have been searching and on the hunt for another prospect of his caliber for the entirety of my MLB The Show 25 rebuilds. And I've done a lot. We've spent a lot of time doing 4-in-1s, experiments, simulations, different rebuilds, and I have yet to encounter another prospect even on a similar level to Trujillo. In fact, I took a look at other YouTubers and scrolled through many of their drafts and prospects that they found, and not a single one has come close to the caliber of Alexis Trujillo. Today, what I want to do is we want to see what Trujillo can become. Trujillo has a lot of individual accomplishments. However, he has yet to find himself on the top of the mountain in the MLB landscape as a World Series champion. Thanks, much in part, due to our ability to rebuild the Chicago White Sox roster and stop them in their tracks, winning in 4 games in 2032. The National League had been dominated by the Washington Nationals over the last several years. They had built a super team with Elly De La Cruz, Matt McLain, Dylan Cruz, James Wood, and of course, their 5-time MVP, Alexis Trujillo. However, Wood is gone, Cruz is gone, and they are now down to the last year of the Trujillo contract, and so it's very likely that he will not be a National much longer. It's actually why I find it kind of ironic that we were able to beat him with Juan Soto on our team, as it very much mirrors a lot of what the Nationals had with Juan Soto before they had to trade him away. Now, the Nationals in this case are not going to trade away Trujillo. They still technically have an opportunity to win another, at least NL pennant. We can see if they can beat the Chicago White Sox when they get to the championship. But team success isn't everything in this. We're kind of focused more in part on his individual success. In 5 seasons, Alexis Trujillo has 943 hits, 319 home runs, only 9 triples, 719 RBIs, a career average of 329, a 1.14 OPS, as well as already racking up 51.2 WAR at first base. He's only 25 years old at this point. In addition, he has 5 MVPs, a Rookie of the Year, 4 Hank Aaron Awards, signaling also with those 4 batting titles that he has gotten a Triple Crown in 4 consecutive seasons in the National League. He has 2 Gold Gloves, as he's also a phenomenal defensive player too. This means he's one of the greatest players that has ever faced the sport of baseball. You're never going to find another player like this. And so we are going to try to see what he can actually become for the rest of his career. Will he play till he's 30 before he regresses? 35? 40? Will he break 700 home runs? Will he break Bonds' record? What will his ending OPS be? His WAR be? These are all things we are going to see today, as we are going to watch and examine what Alexis Trujillo does for his career, hopefully as a Washington National, but we'll see where he ends up going if he does not stay at the end of his contract year. For reference, we are the Chicago White Sox. He's not on this team, so we are going to have to put everything on auto, as I don't necessarily care what happens to this White Sox team anymore, despite having, kind of an insane looking farm system for them in the future. Our whole focus is on Trujillo and what he can become, but we have to watch it from the perspective of the Chicago White Sox. As he's trying to make his way back, it's sad because they're not actually leading the NL East, and they're not going to trade him. So wherever he goes in free agency, he's going to rack up one of the biggest contracts that you've ever seen. But I'm curious to see if the Nationals will actually dole out the money to keep him, especially if this team's not going to be in contention without him. Because in his race for 6 straight MVPs, he's very likely to get it. At the All-Star break, he's at 340 average and 36 home runs, but a lot less RBIs, meaning he's getting a lot more solo shots than he ever has because, well, his team is not necessarily that great. And when it comes to the batting title, Nolan Schanuel is actually right on his tail. There's a good chance he might not get a Triple Crown for the first time. I think a big part of this is just due to just how bad the rest of his team is. And this is really what we're looking at. It's him and Matt McLain, because the rest of this team is not good. Elly De La Cruz is a 74 overall. He has had some of the worst regression I have ever seen, and he is on a $32 million a year contract until 2039. Yeah, Trujillo better get out of there. And in his last year with the Nationals, at least to my expectations, his last year of his original contract, I doubt he'll be signing back with Washington. He plays a little bit less games. They do have other first basemen on the roster, so he didn't have to play 160 games. So he only gets 172 hits, but still gets 60 homers, 137 RBIs, 336 average, 432 on base, 742 slugging, 1174 OPS, and another 10.2 WAR to bring him to 61.4 WAR in 6 years. MVP Hank Aaron, Silver Slugger, batting title, home run champ. No Gold Glove for him this year. Let's see if he got the Triple Crown as well. So he led the way there with batting average. Obviously not in hits because he didn't play as many. Home runs led the way there over Schanuel, and RBIs led the way there as well. So that is a Triple Crown for Alexis Trujillo, his 5th straight Triple Crown, all with the Nationals. In addition, that terrible Nationals team did sneak their way into the wild card, so they might have a shot to make it back. We'll see if they can. Probably not, to be honest, but maybe Trujillo can carry them to the promised land. Take out Colorado on their way. After a sweep of both the Giants and the Rockies, he's got the Pittsburgh Pirates in his way to go to the World Series for a 2nd straight season. And it will be a rematch. White Sox Nationals. Trujillo has 9 home runs and 17 RBIs in the playoffs to this point. He is carrying this national team on his back. Can he carry them over the super team that is the 112-50 Chicago White Sox? Game 1 ends with the Nationals' victory 8-4 over the Chicago White Sox, taking the first game off of Chicago in Chicago, giving them an advantage and taking home field advantage from them. Chicago did come out and win 16-1 in Game 2, meaning that our first game in Washington was very pivotal. However, Chicago took Game 1 in Washington, meaning that they were back on top with home field advantage. As long as the Nationals didn't surrender both games, which they didn't, it meant that we were going to be going back to Chicago for Game 6. And it's all down to this. A rainy night here in Chicago. Game 6 of the World Series between the Nationals and the White Sox. Can Alexis Trujillo end up extending this to a 7-game series against the team that defeated his chances just last year? Going into the top of the 6th, the game is 1-1. Alexis Trujillo had an RBI double to make the score 1-0 originally before the Nationals were giving up a run in the 4th, meaning this is all on Trujillo. He is really the only guy who can stop the dominant pitching staff of the Chicago White Sox, and can he provide any more run support for his team? Maybe even just getting on base and getting walked and hoping Brent Rooker can hit him in. But it's still a lot on Trujillo. 2-0 count here in this one. With the pitch, fouls it off, 2-1 count. Oh my gosh. Alexis Trujillo, solo shot, 2-1 Nationals. William Song is pitching a gem, but he can't pitch around Alexis Trujillo, who hits a solo shot to give the Nationals the lead and hopefully extend this to a Game 7. All the offense provided by Trujillo was all the Nationals needed to force a Game 7 in the World Series. Can he continue his pace and single-handedly take down the dynastic Chicago White Sox? Game 7, White Sox Nationals. It's all down to what the hero of Washington can do. Alexis Trujillo, the Barry Bonds of Nebraska, was he's from Nebraska. Corn-fed guy. That's what we like to see. Can that corn-fed power bring the Washington Nationals a championship over the Chicago White Sox in 2033? Trujillo comes up to bat in the first. He's got 3, maybe 4 at-bats, maybe even 5, to cement his legacy here in Washington as not only a 6-time MVP, but as a World Series champion. There was a hit parade off of Johnny Sims to start off the game. Can Trujillo continue that parade or get walked to get on base for Brent Rooker? I think he would like that too. 2-0 count for Trujillo here in the top of the first. With the pitch. Ball 3. Looks like Trujillo might take the walk unless Sims fights back in the count. Probably expecting a fastball down the middle. And Trujillo will go for it on a 3-0 count. With the pitch. He doesn't. Takes the strike, 3-1 count. Sims seems to be a little bit rattled here in this one. With the pitch. Fouled off, 3-2. But he fights back into it. pitch. Swing and a miss. Trujillo strikes out in the top of the first. After popping up in the third, Trujillo is back 0-2. Top of the fifth with a runner in scoring position to extend the lead. It is 3-2 now as we are in the top of the fifth. The Nationals holding on to the lead after their run early on in the first inning. Can they hold on to that by getting another little run here behind the bat of their hero, Alexis Trujillo? Johnny Sims still in the game here in the fifth. This is probably going to be his last inning in Game 7 of the World Series. So this is Trujillo's last chance to hit the lefty as he drops a slider in high for a 1-2 count.
When he's going like he is right now, it's really fun to watch it.
With a pitch. Swung a hit over to Madroth. That's a ground out, but advances the runner to third. But the lead that the Nationals took has been erased. Alexis Julio hits a shot out to left field to tie the game 3-3 in the seventh. Can Trujillo respond to his 2027 draft mate, Alexis Julio, and get a homer of his own against Britt Davis, reliever of the White Sox here in the top of the eighth? Hits it, fouls it off, 1-1 count for Trujillo in the 3-3 game of Game 7 of the World Series. Trujillo single-handedly got him there. Can he bring them over the top here in the eighth inning? 1-2 count for the first baseman. Takes a ball inside. 2-2 count now in the high-stress performance here in Chicago as the White Sox are trying to repeat and the Nationals are trying to win their first title since 2019. He fouls that one off, staying in it. 2-2 count against Britt Davis. Trujillo really needs to get a big hit here to give the Nationals a shot. He swings and he misses. That's another strikeout. He's come out cold here in Game 7. But after a Alexis Julio 3-run home run in the bottom of the eighth, the Sox took the lead. And now, in the bottom of the ninth, or top of the ninth actually, as the Nationals go on a run in the top of the ninth, there's only one man that it could possibly be as the last batter for the Nationals' chances. Bases loaded, top of the ninth against Merle Priest, closer of the White Sox. Alexis Trujillo takes a strike. 2 outs here for the Nationals. If he makes contact and gets a hit, there's a chance he can extend it with the pitch. He hits it over to first. Pasquantino gets it. Trujillo comes up short in Game 7 of the World Series. He's unable to make a miracle happen. He got them there, but he needed more help, and he was just exhausted after all the work he did to put him there. They put him in a chance and an opportunity to win it, but his 2027 counterpart, Alexis Julio, with 2 big home runs in Game 7 of the World Series, takes down Trujillo for his second chance, and probably his best chance at ever winning a World Series, unless he decides to go to a championship contender this offseason. Trujillo ends up with 10 home runs on his playoff run to a Game 7 of the World Series, but it wasn't enough, and everybody in the world is asking him, where's he gonna be? We're all waiting the decision of Alexis Trujillo for 2034. Alexis Trujillo is going to the Los Angeles Angels. What I believe Trujillo looked at was Xavier Edwards, who last year won the batting title and the Hank Aaron Award in a Los Angeles Angels uniform, and said, if I can hit behind that, I'm going to get a ton of homers and a ton of RBIs, and that's what I want to get here in Los Angeles, and I know I'm going to get a shot. They also have Christian Moore, who is a very valuable piece, Jhonkensy Noel, who is a very valuable piece. It's a good lineup all around, and so we're going to see if he can make it now in the AL this time as a potential MVP Triple Crown candidate and he goes for his 7th straight MVP, this time now in the AL.
I hope you love him, though that fucker had you face down last night. And I was ready for forever, then I found out just in time. So tell me who the fuck you think you are. Play with hearts, you turn this home into a house of cards. Never enough, I hope you got just what you're looking for. Pleasure seeker, we were perfect, you still wanted more. I hope you love him, though that fucker had you face down. I bite the pillow, blow my motherfucking brains out.
At his first AL All-Star game and All-Star break, Trujillo has 40 home runs at the break. 87 games into the season. We're definitely talking 60 plus. Are we talking 70 plus? Dude's even getting triples right now. He's hitting guys in because he actually has guys on base again. And he's racking up WAR. Is this a chance for his best season yet? I mean, we're already talking about a guy who has crossed 400 home runs, and he's 27. In his first year in LA, he gets his 5th 60 home run season and ends up hitting 320 on the year, one of his worst averages he's had in a while since his rookie season, and actually his first below 400 on base since his first season. It's actually one of his worst seasons, which is crazy to say, with 60 home runs. And he ends up racking up 9.2 WAR. Once again, one of the only seasons he ever gets below 10 WAR. So maybe LA's not for him. He should have stayed in Washington, but that's a lot of money, so I'm not going to blame him. He also got an MVP, Hank Aaron Award, Silver Slugger, All-Star, Gold Glove, and All-Star MVP, and batting title, and home run champion. So does any of my advice really matter? No. He just came over here to get an All-Star MVP because he could never win it in the NL because the NL was so bad because they were all so scared of him. And it was close. He almost doesn't get the Triple Crown. Jung-Hoo Lee also hit 320, so he got it at the very end. He beat him. Risser and Rosario had more hits. Led in home runs, though. We saw that. 60 for him. Condon had 39. Julio had 39. And he led in RBIs with 146, beating out James Wood, another former teammate. Everybody ran over to the AL. They were like, okay, we can't win any awards in the NL with this guy here. For us to get paid, we have to go to the AL. And he's like, wait, you guys are all over here? I'm going to come join. And he came over and was like, okay, but I'm going to get the awards now, too. Hey, that does free up. Somebody got an award in the NL. Nick Sherrick, you are the first NL MVP not named Alexis Trujillo since 2027. He's on a team with Skeens, who I should point out has 5 Cy Youngs, including 4 straight. The AL standings have the White Sox in the 1 seed and the Angels in the 2 seed. However, he was unable to get over his former teammate James Wood and Charlie Condon and a bunch of other phenomenal players on the Boston Red Sox as he got swept in the first round of his playoffs, so the White Sox and Red Sox could face off in the ALCS. But with no Nationals to defeat, could the White Sox really be as motivated? The Red Sox defeat the Pirates in the World Series. The Angels snagged Jung-Hoo Lee out of free agency, so they're really trying to put 2 guys in front of him to get on base so he can get as many RBIs as possible. All my guy was really looking for was just some bats that could get on base in front of him, right? 43 home runs, 99 RBIs at the break. Should we just come back when he does something interesting? Like, this dude's boring. He just gets triple crowns whenever he wants it. A 28-year-old with 1,500 hits and 500 home runs, and a career average of 331, and a career OPS of 1142. This is also like his best season he's put together in a while. 11.5 WAR. He's at 82 WAR. God, he's so good. I don't think I have to show you, but I'm going to, because this is very clearly another triple crown. 344 leads the way. 209 hits leads the way. Not in doubles. He doesn't do those. He only hits homers. 67 home runs. And 168 RBIs leads the way. But is a wild card team. Well, I guess won the division, but the Boston is really good. So really, when I look at it, I think what we're going to do from now on is we're just going to jump, see if he wins a World Series, see if he doesn't win a Triple Crown for once, and then see when he starts to hit some of these major thresholds beyond, going for records. 700 home runs, 714, 762. Because there's no way he doesn't get to those numbers at this point. 506 home runs this early. Oh yeah, White Sox won another World Series. That's 3 out of 4 years. No Triple Crown in 2036. He didn't lead the league in home runs. That goes to third baseman Alfonso Delgado, who had 49 homers over Trujillo's only 47 this year. And in addition, didn't lead in RBIs either. Charlie Condon did. As Trujillo enters his age 30 season, we're looking at 1,700 hits, 553 home runs, and 1,295 RBIs with a grand total of 93.1 WAR. So, we probably won't see much. I mean, I don't know. He didn't win Triple Crown this past year, but we'll kind of look for World Series, and I think we'll come back around 700 home runs. But he breaks his forearm early on in the season, not being able to play this full year. We're going to see his pace slow a little bit, as he's probably not going to pull down an MVP for the first time in his career. A home run, a triple, and 2 RBIs against the White Sox on June 15th, 2038, and Alexis Trujillo has crossed the 600 marker for home runs. Regression is starting to hit our man in his age 31 season, coming off the injury, durability being the first one to get hit. I think the arm injury kind of hurt him in the long run, but he ends up still putting together a good season here. 40 home runs, 167 hits, 317 average, his first below 1,000 OPS since his rookie season, actually matching his rookie season in OPS, and still putting up a good 6.6 WAR, but we're starting to see some regression, and for his first time as a healthy player, he does not win MVP. I think Trujillo's about to be in a little bit of trouble when it comes to regression. He got 31 home runs this year. He's down to a 93 overall. 65 durability is really going to hurt because we're going to see some injuries, I think, start to rack up for this dude. On top of that, he's got 4 more years left with this $34 million contract, so it's not like they can just go trade him to a team that's trying to contend. Instead, they're going to have to deal with having a first baseman who, yes, is still incredibly phenomenal. Almost 110 WAR right now after the 5.8 WAR in year 12. But I think, like, the Angels have a pretty good roster. The only problem with their roster is that every single one of their talented players are also at first base. And Trujillo can play third and right, but they also have a very good third baseman. And I guess he'd be playing right field. I don't know. He's playing right field. Is he playing DH? Or do we, as the White Sox, say, hey, maybe we trade for him? Alexis Trujillo's a Brewer.
When the
He
money
did get traded.
runs out and the city shuts down, I can't even fucking count all the ways I missed out. When I sit and think about everyone I let down, I just wanna go home, but I can't right. When the money runs out and the city shuts down, I can't even fucking count all the ways I missed out. When I sit and think about everyone I let down, I just wanna go home, but I can't right now. Now I'd rather be anywhere but here now. And everyone who said they love me never stuck around. I think Bobby saved my life back when he
In his first year in Milwaukee, he did have some minor injuries that made him lose some games. Nothing like super significant, no torn ACL, just some lower body injuries throughout the year. As Trujillo's speed is getting down, his fielding ability is getting down. He should probably be a full-time DH at some point, but I know he was always just such a good defensive first baseman. You kind of go for it. He's at 677 home runs, 2,241 hits, and a grand total of a 113.4 WAR. As you see, major regression for him this year. But he still technically has a shot. I mean, he has the most MVPs ever. He still can get up to 700 home runs. He's got 3 more years here in Milwaukee, or 2 more years here in Milwaukee, and they don't have a first baseman to replace him. Maybe they'll play him at DH otherwise, but as long as he can stay healthy, we're talking probably will get to the 762 by Bonds. No, I was jumping in trying to sim day to day because I wanted to see him do it. And then he hits 2 home runs in the same day on June 20th, 2041. And so Trujillo is at 700 home runs. What a power resurgence he's having this year in 2041. He's at 39 home runs. He's stayed healthy this year so far, and he has passed the great Babe Ruth with only 2 men left to catch, Hank Aaron and Barry Bonds. And he's back on top. MVP number 9 for Alexis Trujillo in Milwaukee. Playing 158 games does a lot of the work. He does have an ACL sprain here at the end of the season, but he ends up with 44 home runs, 116 RBIs, it's 281, and racks up 4.2 WAR this year. Still playing in the outfield, still playing at first. He has his first MVP in 5 seasons, as he had started to regress. Gets his first Silver Slugger in 5 seasons. And gets his first home run champ in 5 seasons. No batting title, so no Triple Crown. He doesn't get any more of those. But still, really good to see him back on top. And the question will be, can he take Milwaukee to the promised land? He's not going to be able to play in their wild card round. And he makes it back to his first World Series since he was in Washington. And he gets to take on Chicago once again. He's a different player than he was back in 2033, his last time that he made it. But this is going to be his last chance to potentially win one. He is playing right field for the Milwaukee Brewers for this postseason. I don't know if he's going to get as many opportunities. He has not been that good this postseason. He's coming off of a minor injury at the end of the year. But can he get his first World Series title? Games 1 and Games 2 were a split series in this World Series as we are here in Milwaukee, and Game 4. But the White Sox have a 2-1 lead over the Milwaukee Brewers, and Trujillo has yet to really have any performance so far in this World Series. Really, the close series that they're having against Chicago means that there's still a good chance for him to get his chance to show up. But ever since falling in Game 7 of the 2033 World Series, he is still being asked questions about whether or not he can ever win the big game. Last week, he found his way into the World Series for the first time since 2033. In fact, while he was in Los Angeles, he never once made his way out of the first round of the playoffs. But here in Milwaukee, in his first healthy season, will he be able to do it this time? Will he be able to take down Chicago, finally? The veteran first baseman coming up to bat, down 2-0 for the first time in the bottom of the second against Salvador Colon of the White Sox. Swings and misses on his first swing. We love what he has brought to the table for them. He's basically carried them here in the regular season to get them in through the wild card spot, but they technically have not seen much of his production once they got to the postseason. They've gotten here themselves, taking down a few teams on the way as he fouls that one off to a 1-2 count. Will his playoff and World Series experience help this young Milwaukee Brewers team take down the dominant force that has been the Chicago White Sox, who since 2030 have made 5 World Series appearances? He strikes out looking in his first plate appearance against Salvador Colon. It's still going to be a tough one for them to be able to overcome as he comes up for his second at-bat here in the bottom of the 4th, at least this time with a man on first. He's going against a lefty who he's hit really well this year. In fact, it's the only rating he's seen go up out of any of his ratings, as he is still an 80 overall somehow. Hits that one over to third. It's going to be thrown to second. He's 0 for 2 on the day. The White Sox stay up 3-0. But if he can't produce and nobody on the team can support him, it's going to be very hard for him to get over this team that has always stood in his way in his career. The Chicago White Sox win, going up 3-1, taking a shutout victory, 6-0. His lack of playoff success still haunts him. 3 World Series appearances, 3 losses, all to the Chicago White Sox. He has never been able to beat them. They have always been in his way. At least he still has individual accomplishments. Maybe this year he'll be able to cross the threshold and take down Hank Aaron or Barry Bonds, but as his body depreciates, The question will be how much time he really has left to even get that, and what is he going to do to get a World Series ring on a finger. It's the last year of his original $341 million contract he had gotten from the Los Angeles Angels. As he enters year 15, will he be able to get the 41 home runs he needs in this last year, or is he going to have to convince somebody to bring him back to record chase? In addition, can the Milwaukee Brewers build enough of a roster around him to get him a final shot to get a World Series ring as a major contender and a major contributor to an offense? Or is he going to have to ring chase? That's all that 2042 will have to ask. Sadly, 2042 won't have the answers. A torn Achilles tendon in the last year of his contract means he's stuck at 726 home runs unless somebody is willing to give an old 36-year-old slugger on a chase for home runs a chance to get to 762 after he comes off a torn Achilles, a bad negative season for him for the first time really ever. And will he ever be able to get those records? We'll see.
This pitcher's done a good job of disrupting the hitter's timing with a mix of pitches and changing speeds. You want to keep that front foot. Oh, now this is blasted. Way back there. On its way. Gone. A gigantic blast. It's 2-1. Chris, he's homered in back-to-back games now. Yep, seeing the ball well, and he's got his timing locked in. He's looking pretty dangerous at the dish right now. And he has tied the all-time home run record. One more and he can stake a claim as the greatest home run hitter in Major League history. But if he was feeling pressure before, now it gets even more intense. But congrats to him on matching this incredible record. It's truly amazing what he's done over the course of his career. Now it's just a matter of time before we see him standing alone. I can't wait to see him do that. Is the designated hitter, Alexis Trujillo. One big swing of the bat from becoming Major League Baseball's I never thought I'd see anyone get close to this record. He's a once-in-a-lifetime player, and this is a moment baseball fans across the globe will never forget. They might just build him his own wing at the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. A legend, the likes of which the sport of baseball has never seen. And even though the anticipation has been building for some time now, knowing that this day was going to come, it doesn't take away from the moment one bit. An outpouring of emotion on the field, in the stands, and I'm sure for everyone watching at home as well. It's up there with all of the sport's greatest achievements. The Montuous hit streak, Woodkins consecutive games, you name it, this one might top them all.
Still bleed, I need you with me. I'll wait while you leave.
The Pirates down to their final stretch. On the ground right side.
When we were young, I'd pray.
Now doing it. The White Sox have won the World Series.
Now I'm finally done. I'm finally done trying to break. Don't gotta power it, say, babe, you wouldn't change.
Congratulations to the champs. Game 7 of the World Series. Every player on both sides coming to the ballpark knowing that this is it. This team got it done. It's been a special run all year long, and it's finished with winning it all in a special series.
I believed you when you said that you were done as love. Takes you up and dust you off, yeah, we were good for a while. Only ask me for a moment, but
Welcome back on the show as we see some of the final moments and reactions to this World Series clinching game.
but it's still torn me apart. Watching you fall, and now I know I couldn't have tried.
And now let's go down to the field where they're set to present the Commissioner's Trophy journey to the World Series champs. Singleton and our outstanding crew, I'm John Shambi. This has been the World Series on MLB The Show.
Alexis Trujillo goes out on top. One World Series title. Yes, he had to join the evil Chicago White Sox to be able to do it. They couldn't stand in his way if he was on the roster. And so after giving him an opportunity, he played DH for 2 seasons after coming off the Achilles tear. He breaks the home run record set by Barry Bonds and is going to end with a career hits of 2,729, career home runs of 769, a career batting average of 312, career on base 394, a career OPS of 1,030, and a career WAR of 116.7. A 10-time MVP, a 9-time Hank Aaron Award winner, a 3-time Gold Glover, 12-time All-Star, 9-time Silver Slugger, 2-time All-Star MVP, 8-time batting title award winner, 9-time home run champ. That is 6, if not 7, batting title, or I believe actually it might be 8. No, it is 7 triple crowns, a playoff MVP in 2030, and at the end of it, a World Series ring and trophy with the 2044 Chicago White Sox. Yes, I know I had to bring him in to play DH to get to the records. Could he have gotten more? Maybe if he didn't get injured in 2042, 2040, and 2037, maybe we'd see a little bit more numbers. But just like Albert Pujols, when the injuries came in the latter half of the career, it kind of has happened to all the greats. Griffey, Pujols, especially as of recent. It's hard to say and play the what-if game, but you don't have to play it for too long, because he got to the magic number, and he is going to go down in the Hall of Fame as the greatest prospect in MLB The Show history, as the greatest first baseman in MLB history, as the greatest hitter in baseball history, and at the end of it, the greatest of all time, Alexis Trujillo.